Man, I don't really want to make this video. Maybe I'll do it later. What is going on, guys? My name is Demetri, and today in this video, I'm going to show you how to stop procrastinating. To get us started, it's vital that you remember not to procrastinate on the important things in life. Namely, smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm, as my man Graham Stephan says. If you could hit that like button down below, I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you're watching this video instead of doing something productive, make sure to leave a comment down below letting us know what it is that you're procrastinating on. The first thing that I found that helps me a lot to stop procrastinating during my work sessions is to never start from a completely blank slate. Make sure it's partially finished, halfway finished, almost finished, any sort of finish so that you can get going on it quicker, because when our mind looks at something that's completely blank, it's going to have a much harder time to get working on it. And that is a key part of making us distracted. It's never good for our brain to see something that is completely undone, especially when we're starting a workflow, because when our mind sees something that's difficult, we're going to try to avoid that, even if it's subconscious. And that's part of the reason you procrastinate. It's a subconscious avoidance of your mind from saying, I really don't want to do hard work. Please don't make me do this. Look how much work you have to do. But if it's partially done, then you're basically halfway in the clear and your mind's like, okay, well, it's not gonna be that bad. I mean, you're gonna have to do stuff, but it's not that bad. So when you're planning out your work days, make sure that you order it in a way so that you can start working on something that's partially finished. And then the things that are completely on a blank slate will be much easier to get into because you're gonna already be in that workflow mindset. A big motivator that can help you stop procrastinating is actually something that was introduced to me by one of my favorite content creators, Ali Abdaal. The 1 year rule is essentially the thought to yourself of, in 1 year's time, what would I regret not starting today? For me, this definitely would have been starting my online community, having this YouTube channel up. I finally got myself to make my first YouTube video just by virtue of thinking to myself, if I don't start today, I'm gonna regret it. And now I'm so glad I did it, but the initial pushback is just my subconscious trying to get me to procrastinate. But you can get your mind around this by just thinking to yourself, in a year's time, what would I regret not starting today? As you can see with the 1 year rule, motivation plays a huge part behind getting you to complete work and not procrastinate. If you want to learn more about this subject, I have a video that I will link in the cards above called The Truth Behind Motivation. And one of the main topics in there talks about push versus pull motivation. So push motivation is something small, like I'm gonna finish this rep of this workout because I need to just get through it and I'll get in better shape because of it. That's really not something that we're consistently motivated by. We need something called pull motivation. An example of this is something that's greater than yourself. If you are doing something for somebody else and you have a driving force that's outside of yourself, you're going to be pulled towards doing that thing constantly so that you can make them happy while also making yourself happy and the entire community around whatever it is you're working on happy. You also will find this by loving the process of what you're doing. For me, I'm thoroughly enjoying making this video. I haven't recorded in a week and it's kind of been something I've missed out on, so I'm being pulled towards wanting to do this even though it's 6:43 in the morning. This is my second video in a row of recording and I'm just loving it. Even if it's some sort of tedious task, if it's part of something that's pull motivating you, that little bit of grind that you always have to get through is gonna be much easier if you're pull motivated by it. Next is just the simple idea of planning out your days and having to-do lists. We talked about finishing uncompleted tasks earlier, but the main thing to remember here is that if you don't have a plan for your day, you're going to not be able to get to the point of, yeah, I'm gonna start working on this thing, because you're gonna procrastinate large work sessions if you never planned on when you're gonna do them in the first place. When motivation fails, discipline and planning will always prevail. And if you wanna learn more about my specific task management, time management, and calendar-based systems, please make sure to check out the link down in the description, which will be my free ebook, 10 Steps to Saving Time and Doing More. What I do is I block schedule different sections of my day every day, knowing when I'm gonna work on different tasks. Then I pull in my tasks from my task management system and to-do list during those block times, and I always have a plan for what I'm going to do and when I'm going to do it. I spend 2 45-minute sessions a week planning out the different parts of my week. I have like a template for what my week usually looks like regarding the time stamps that I'm able to work on stuff, but what I work on changes a little bit. I try to keep a similar framework each week, especially when I'm done with school now. I can kind of structure it in a way where I don't have to worry about the fluctuating work amounts with school. But when you plan at the beginning and the middle of the week of how the rest of your week's gonna go and what you're gonna work on, you're gonna find yourself way less stressed and way more productive, not procrastinating on, oh, I don't know when I'm gonna do it. Maybe I'll get it done by the end of the day, because you have a set time saying, I'm gonna do this when I'm going to do this based on what my calendar says. There are some rules that you need to plan by, however. And for me, one of the big ones is called the daily highlight. The daily highlight gives you an overarching, happy idea of what do I want to have done by the end of today. And for me, it's having a quality video made for you guys. Whether it's 1 or 2, I make sure at the beginning of the day, I think to myself, what do I want that's done today? Yeah, I really want a good video to be made. And in order for that to manifest, I need to plan that in the first place. And I need to make my time management and my task management systems work for me so that I can get that one thing done. Another rule to plan by is remembering Parkinson's law. If you ever have had a paper that's due, you'll know that if you had a 30-day window to complete it, you're gonna complete it on the 29th or 30th day. For me, a big way to avoid this is having Parkinson's law work for you. Parkinson's law states that, work will expand to whatever time it's given. So I give myself a reasonable amount of time to finish different tasks. I talked about in a previous vlog that my social media sessions used to take longer, and that is because I gave myself way more time to work on them. When I started marginally decreasing the amount of time that I gave myself to work on things I had already worked on before and have had a sort of idea of how it goes, I was able to reduce the amount of time that it actually took me by experimenting and increasing and decreasing different parts of my workflow and seeing, okay, how long is this gonna take? Make sure you decrease the amount of time that you give yourself to work on things to a reasonable amount. Test around with it, and if you can decrease it to the least amount of time possible, you're going to be the most productive. Lastly, to stop procrastinating, I've talked about this before, but use the Pomodoro Technique. Tell yourself, I got 25 minutes to do this one task, set a timer, and just do it. After the 25 minutes is up, you can take a break, and that's cool and all, but most of the time, you're just gonna be working on it regardless. Really suggest the Pomodoro Technique. If you wanna learn more about that, I have plenty of different areas on my channel where I'll talk about it, so I won't beat a dead horse with that topic, but the Pomodoro Technique is absolutely amazing. By implementing a few of these different tactics, I guarantee you that you'll be more productive, less stressed, and you'll stop procrastinating. If you have any suggestions on how to not procrastinate, make sure to leave it in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you haven't to stay up to date with all of my latest content. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next one.